I'm your host, Miss Kazmak. Now guys, if you're new to the channel, you are in for a treat. On the show, we have some amazing women that come in from all various different walks in life, and they're here to just really encourage, to empower you to step out, to do what you were created to do. So, don't touch the dial, but there is a little instructions you have to proceed and go by. People that are old, you know how it goes. But the newbies, you have to go in front of people. You need to let people know that the show is about to start. You need to call the crew, you need to social media, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you need to do, just do it, please, I beg. Yeah? Anyway, I shall see you guys after the advert. See you in a bit. Peace out. Guys, welcome back to No Ordinary Woman Chat Show. Right, so we have some sisters in the studio with us right now. They're amazing women. They are women that are beyond the box off. Now, if you don't know about the box off, you're going to learn about the box off. But what's the box going to be off? So let's go and meet these lovely ladies. Hey ladies. Hey Rochelle.
Hey,
how you doing? You good?
Good.
Good stuff. So do introduce yourself, two of you, so they know who you are. So you, Rochelle.
So I'm Rochelle, and I'm a Box Off co-founder.
Okay.
And I'm Shana, and I'm a Box Off co-founder, and I'm also Rochelle's sister.
Okay, cool. So what is the box off?
So the Box Off, obviously, you can see that's an unfinished sentence. So the idea behind the Box Off is that it's about space. It's about creating a good space, a good headspace in a world that's full of anxiety, stress, and really encouraging people to live their best life. So the box is a selection of items, well-being related. So we've got things like candles, inspiring, encouraging words, and different types of gifts that bring you to a good space, each designed and carefully selected by theme.
Oh, so how did the idea come about? I mean, you know, that's really just unusual because I've never heard of the box off or in regards to what it consists of, but where did that come from?
It was organic, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think if I really think about it, it started many years ago. I think we've both always been into arts and crafts, and if I actually look really far back, we used to go to a place called Mandeville, a school, after school, and we used to be able to choose what we wanted to do, pottery, crafts, all different things, and it was just amazing, and I just used to love going and creating. And it's funny because I'm older than Rochelle, but years later she went there as well, and we just loved to create. So I think part of that was where this was born. But then sort of years later, Rochelle came up with the idea really of starting the business together as a family. We had some serious things happen in our family that made us look at our legacy. Our mum wasn't very well, and it really made us look at what we were going to leave behind and what we stood for as a family. And so Rochelle came up with the idea, so I'll pass it over to her.
Yeah, so I mean, I had a couple of platforms that I ran around inspiring and encouraging people. So something called the Hope Wall, which was about getting different stories collected from different people, talking about snippets of hope and why they have hope. And what I wanted around that was a community of people just to be able to share what they were going through if they're in challenging times. So that kind of sentiment started a while back, and then when the box off idea came, it was really from having a lot of great friends who send gifts to me. So great friends and great family who just send things by post. And we're in a world that's so digital. We very rarely get to feel and touch things. So that whole idea of tactileness is quickly going out the window. But we still love it, and I still love it. And what I was having is sort of emails, letters, different things coming through the post. And I thought, well, we should make something of that moment of when something comes through the door, and we should also marry that with the idea of encouraging people through the door and to living their best life. And the idea around the whole self-care element just came after being through a really challenging year, doing 100 different things at once, and just experiencing burnout and thinking, okay, besides the online search and tips for your friends, like how can you get life hacks and ideas to get to a better space? And that's what the box of does.
Wow, that's amazing. But in terms of your backgrounds, what background, in terms of work-wise, what background do you come from?
So for me, I'm in television, media background. So I've done a number of things from production to development, that's coming up with program ideas, right the way through to marketing and brand development. So promoting the shows that you see on television and making sure you know about them and you watch them.
Right, okay.
So that's the background. So that sounds a bit disconnected to the box probably, but it's not actually, because what we, in one team, which was an innovation team, we looked at the balance that people have to come up with great ideas, to come up with the best ideas that you can.
Yeah, because you need that space.
You need space,
You need that space, and you do need that in order for you to become creative. So even just having, you know, like a card, and it could be just like have a heart of gratitude. Absolutely. Just to see it just having that space to channel into it just makes a huge difference. And I really like what you said, we have become quite disconnected in terms of the tangible things, because obviously we are so digital, you know, everything is digital, everything is visual, and there's no real communication. And just, you know, I don't know how you guys are finding about social media as well. You know, like even you said, one of the things that you both said was in regards to receiving gifts through the post and things like that. But even now, half the people don't even want to do that. You know, they just want to just send you a video or something like that. They don't even say, how are you, and whatever. So in regards to what you're doing, I think that's so needed right now. You know, the box off, because it could be the box of anything, but just what that person needs at that right time.
Definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. And for us, as Rochelle said, our family is a family of present givers. And I think it's not really so much the price of the present, it's more the feelings that it evokes. So even like for me and Rochelle, at our age that we are now, we still give each other birthday presents, Christmas presents, because it's kind of like a physical manifestation of love, basically.
Yeah.
So for me as well, even with my friends or whoever, when I'm buying a present, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't just buy random presents. I prefer not to buy you something. If I'm buying you something, I'm thinking about you, from me buying the present to wrapping the present, all of that kind of stuff. And that's just how I am. That's how we are. But we recognise that some people are not really like that. And, you know, for people who can't express themselves, for instance, the box is great for that, because we have amazing words in there, encouragements, things like that. So if you know that somebody's going through something, you can literally send them the box and it will talk for you. And I just think that that's really needed, as you said, in this kind of digital age. You need people to extend their hands to you, and sometimes they can't physically hug you. So with the box, it's like a hug from the box, or an expression of love from the box. So yeah, I think it's needed.
And what background of work and field do you come from?
I'm from a creative background, so hair and beauty, artistic. I was a hairdresser for many, many, many years. Went on to do photo shoots and stuff like that, so I'm quite creative. I'm actually in financial services at the moment.
So you definitely need a box or something. Trust me.
She needs a box off regular. She needs a regular box off.
Listen, I sometimes am just like, I need one of those boxes, because it's, my life is busy. The department that I work in is busy, and I had to make sure as well that I was practicing what I was preaching. So, you know, if I'm saying, you know, you need to take a moment out and you need to do these different things, I have to do it. And it helps. You know, we're not saying that we're going to change your life in terms of changing the stress. We can't change the course of your life, but we can change how you deal with stresses or you know, issues or just time, you know, not having time for yourself and these things. So we try to offer you things to kind of meet that need, really.
That's really nice, and it's really crucial. But even would you say that, you know, you may not be able to change the stress or whatever that person may be going through, but in a way you are, because what your organisation is providing is that gift where that person will purchase the gift from you guys online, send it to their friend. Now that friend just receiving that through the post, not expecting anything, could have been having a really crappy moment, and then receiving that and it's just like, oh, someone's thought of me. Do you get what I'm saying? So you kind of like change that.
100%. And just to sort of clarify the two different types of gifts that you can get. One is a gift giving type thing. So you can do the box of, say, love, box of peace. So that's something you would give to friends. And that is in a different sort of white style box. Looks glossy. Looks like something you'd buy as a gift.
Right.
The other is a larger sort of self-care box, and that one is the one where you deal with the kind of stressors. This is the self-care box that's going to have the words. It's got partnerships with different people in the mindful industry, in the psychology, you know, mental health. That one's the one that connects, and that's something you probably buy as a gift to yourself to encourage you on a, say, bi-monthly basis. We're in subscriptions as well, so we send them out on a bi-monthly basis when people sign up.
Oh, excellent. So what is your social media feeders itself? How can people find out about the box of?
So you can find us on Instagram, so at the box of, and also Twitter, which is at the box of space actually. So there's a box of space, and you can also find us on Facebook, which is the box of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the challenges that you've occurred in terms of just starting up the business? Because obviously it's online and things like that. What's the challenges that you faced with that?
Okay, for me, my challenge is balance.
Yeah.
Because I have a busy life, as everybody does. I'm juggling so many balls. So I work full time.
Yeah.
I'm working on the business. I'm a mum. I'm a wife.
Oh wow.
I have other things on the go. So for me, it's really the balance, because sometimes it can be overwhelming. I also recently was diagnosed with a kidney condition.
Okay.
So that was another thing that was thrown into the mix, because obviously you've got to review everything that you're doing. So that for me was a challenge, because we were just starting out in the business. Obviously you have to put a lot of work into it. We're a partnership, so you don't want one taking too much of the load. But the challenge of balance for me is an ongoing thing. You know, it's something that you will always be trying to master. And sometimes I get it fantastically right, and then another time I kind of drop the ball. So that's for me probably my biggest challenge, and also just learning. This is a new business. This is a new experience. There are things that I wasn't au fait with, and literally we had to learn on the job. But you know what? God is great. He hooked us up with the right people. He allowed us to learn really quickly, because it was literally a baptism of fire. Because it's just like you had to learn this. Social media, all of that kind of stuff. Obviously, for social stuff on social media is completely different from business, and you have to think about your audience. You know, there's loads of things you have to think about, and it's time consuming. And at first it was a bit of a chore for me. It wasn't my comfort zone, but as time goes on, time is the great thing as well. It teaches you lots of stuff, and you kind of become a little bit of an expert at that, and then you move on to the next thing. So yeah, so for me, probably the learning everything and balance.
And what about yourself, Rochelle?
For me, I think the biggest challenge has been I race ahead because I've got ideas and a big picture and a big vision of things, and I sometimes feel I can never move fast enough to reach what I'm trying to get. I've got sort of ideas. So I think so I worked. I took 4 months out to start the business, and I worked in the Google's campus, which is a co-working space with other entrepreneurs. And so we were all working on all sorts of different types of businesses, but it was massive encouragement to have different types of people working with me. One of the challenges was that we were all so driven that you wanted to move to the next stage, but you have to hit the basics.
Yeah, because
there's stages of it. You have to literally put in the work and do the, you know, the day-to-day, like Shana said, the social media. It takes a lot of time. So when you're thinking about product development, And then you've got the social media angle, and then you've got, oh, but we want to be partnering with this person. There's only 2 of us.
Yeah.
And Shana's full time, so it's just constantly thinking, okay, how many meetings, and that kind of thing. And then also planning. So I think a lot of my responsibilities in planning, and budgeting, and things like that. So there's that pressure that's always there. So I guess I have to. Well, it's great because I'm having to literally live the brand and think, okay, you have to have headspace for sure. You can't just, you can't just be really, really busy and not sleeping. You have to create the space.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's like, learning on the job to actually do and practice what we're preaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So in regards to, you mentioned the Google space. What does that entail? Just in case any of our viewers are looking for somewhere where they can
go down. Yeah, because you can go down there. It's a space in Old Street. They have them in different places around the world actually, and they're literal co-working spaces where you can go and work alongside other people, like-minded people.
Right.
And Google have great talks and different kind of insight that they provide, and you sign up for socials. So you really get to mix with people who are similar, and that's particularly good if you've got viewers who are working alone, if they're not in a partnership. So I have a couple of friends actually from the campus in completely different types of business. One's in vegan fashion, one's completely in tech, and I speak to them nearly every day. These 2 guys, and they just bounce ideas. Have you seen this? Have you seen that? And it's every day. And it's so helpful because then I'll go back to Shana and say, oh, we need to develop influencer strategy, it all goes straight. So I think it's really important to have good people around you doing similar things because you raise your bar, and also they just provide insights into the way that you can do things differently. Yeah,
because even one of the things when you were saying about the Google space as well, especially being alone and doing your business, it can be so, isolated. You haven't got anybody else that you can just I need that kind of encouragement from. So I think that's amazing.
100%. And especially if people have left, are planning on leaving social roles, which when I say that, I mean just having people around you at work.
Yeah.
It's great to go straight into an environment where you do have other people, if that's what you like. I think that's quite key because your mental state, as what the box office is about, actually get into a good headspace. Your mental space is really important, and it's just as important as anything else in getting the business done or your job done.
Yeah. So in regards to the box of how do you choose the right gifting to go into these books?
It's a process of elimination. I mean, Rochelle is an amazing planner. I'm kind of a little bit more fly off the cuff, but it's great for me.
Yeah, but because have the balance.
Definitely, and it's good, and that's taught me something as well about. I mean, I believed I was a planner. I really thought I was a planner, but Rochelle's more meticulous in the planning, and I'm really grateful for that. But we plan in advance what kind of themes and all of that kind of stuff. So we have brainstorming sessions, and really trying to think of what the need is, and also praying on it. Being led to where we need to be. And it kind of builds in momentum as we begin to look at perhaps a theme. We investigate, we'll do research, and it's just amazing the things that you find. And also we're in an amazing position now where people actually contact us to say we would like to feature in your box. And thank God the level of products that are coming to us are of a high level, and a lot of the time they're exactly what we want, and they fit in with our brand. So it's an enjoyable process. And it's more enjoyable when you plan. That's something that I've learned. It's much more, because when you're under pressure, it loses the enjoyment, and it becomes nuts and bolts. Where I've always wanted it, and we always wanted to have that fun element, that enjoyment. And sometimes what I've realised is I have to take a step back and take a look at what's happening outside of the nuts and bolts, and actually see, oh my gosh, this is where we've come from. This is what we'll do, and we're actually in our flow. This is where we're supposed to be. We're in our calling. This is where we're supposed to be, and actually look at it and just see the journey that we've come on, and actually say, pat myself on the back,
celebrate your wins.
Celebrate.
Because a lot of us, we don't do that. I definitely don't do that
in life, and you don't do it in life, and it's actually, again, that's another thing about self-care. Self-care generally, you need to look after yourself, and actually you probably say to someone else, wow, that's amazing, but you don't say it to yourself. You don't focus on encouraging yourself on a day-to-day basis. And I think self-preservation is so key for so many things, and from health physical health, right through to mind health.
Yes.
It's a process, it's maintenance, it's management. You learn that as you get older. Things are about maintenance.
That's
when you're
right.
younger, it's just, whatever's new.
Yeah.
I'm resilient, I will live. When you're older, your mind needs maintaining too. And to Shana's point, in terms of the forward planning, we think about those things like, is it about calm? Is it anxiety? So current box is about calm and anxiety relief. Another box might be about changing your perspective, looking at yourself and saying, how do I see things? Another bit might be, how do you talk to yourself? What's the kind of talk and chatter that's going on in your head? Those are the kind of ideas and thematic planning that we'll do in advance, and then all the products will be guided by that. And sometimes they just come out of nowhere and they're exactly right.
That's amazing. And I think that's so needed, especially in the day and age that we're living in, because you look at, say, social media, and I'm not looking at social media as a negative, but sometimes it can have that negative element, where you're constantly comparing, or you get anxious because you haven't reached that level and you don't actually know what that person's done or been doing for the last how many years to be where they are today, and you don't even know what they're going through on a general normal day. So I think something like that is so important in terms of being calm, and also to deal with that mental health, dealing with your mind. It's so
consistent self-development, reflection's important. It makes the world a better place, because once in the individual is in a better space, and this is the passion, well, particularly where my passion comes around headspace, is that once the individual is in a good headspace, the wider community becomes in a good space, the world becomes a better place. That's how I see it, really.
Yeah, definitely.
And people are, as we said before, people are just so stressed out. As we delve deeper into this, there are so many people going through emotional issues and things like that, and both of us by nature, we're very encouraging people. We want to see people succeed and win, and that's really at the heart and the core of this. And obviously we are Christians, so we want to see people win.
Yes.
And I think that's something that we really want to get over in what we do. It's not just about us making money. It's not just about us having pretty gifts. The gifts actually have meaning.
Yeah.
And we want people to go away with tools to help them in their life. And as Rochelle was saying, a lot of people don't look after themselves.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that sometimes, because I'm looking after my husband, I'm looking after my son, I'm looking after other people. But I'm not going to go anywhere if I don't look after myself.
Absolutely.
So I live by the tips. I take time out. I make sure that I take a few moments, light a candle, have a bath. Obviously I shower every day, but that bath, that was just like, I haven't got time for that. Let me have a quick shower. But for me, it's important. When I come home from work, that's my kind of separation from work and into my real work.
Yeah. And it's about the moments. I think one of the things if you go on our social media, we talk about the moment a lot, and it's to extract a moment and say, actually, our lives are made up of moments, and it's not that long for you to just take out that 1-2 minutes to be still for a second, think about, to breathe when you're just going from one task to the next. It's just about moments, and I think everything that we do and everything in the box is always there to facilitate you getting into a moment, because when you're with yourself or in that moment, that's when you can get into that good space. And I think that's what more carving out of that time and more prioritizing it is
Sorry, and I was just going to build on that. A lot of the time when we think about, like, if we're stressed out or if we're anxious or whatever, we think about this big win. So I need to go on holiday, or I need to do this.
I need to buy a Porsche because that makes me better.
But there's a
small thing.
It really is, because sometimes we want the big things immediately, but you have to go through that process.
Yeah, and you have to learn to be content with the smaller things, because they're accessible.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be content in life if you're always going for big, massive wins, because then you're going to have to save for it, you're going to go broke for it. If you learn how to do the smaller things, it's like I said, a maintenance.
Yes.
It's practical.
I like that. I really do like this. So you guys couldn't bring me a box of something?
We can send you a box.
Oh,
we got
and also we have one put aside for the viewers if you want to run a competition.
Hey, viewers, I'm a fortunate and they get hey.
We got one put to one side.
Okay. So you guys going to offer a gift for the viewers? You're going to run a little competition?
We'll run a competition. Okay. We'll give you the details later on for the website.
Hey, you see, guys? You see what happens when it happens? Listen. Hey, come on. You get bringers when you come on the show. It's not just about watching this, subscribing. You get gifts. if you win the competition, of course. But yeah, well, thank you, ladies, so much. But before I wrap up, do you do events? Do you meet with your target audience? Do you have any like events coming up at all for 2017?
We've got some things in the pipeline.
Okay.
So I already do an event called the Light Spot, and this is where we first sort of introduced the concept by doing giveaways at the end of the event, and it's there to inspire people and has different people in the industry doing TED style talks.
Yes.
So I've got a kind of series coming up with the Museum of Happiness, which is based in London. So we'll do a self-care series for them, around getting people to self-care so people can come along and learn how to do it a bit better and create some of their own boxes and their own toolkit as well.
That sounds fab.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to come down.
Yeah, you have to come down.
Yes, most definitely.
Definitely.
And also look out for our pop-up shops, which
Yeah.
will be coming up soon.
And would that just be within London or
At the moment, but
branching out soon?
my faith will branch out. Yeah.
Cool.
But if people keep in tune with us on social media, we'll let them know what's going on.
Okay, so guys, thank you ladies for coming
Thanks
and
for
sharing
having
the
us.
box off with us. And viewers, thank you as well for tuning in. We appreciate you. Like, I really appreciate you. I know you appreciate me too. Listen to me, I'm getting gas. Really trying to hype myself up, but you know how it goes. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, peace out. No ordinary woman. See you later. Bye.
You are the key. It's only natural.